Welcome to the Montgomery Podcast. I'm Dr. Brandy Taylor Montgomery, your host. Today's episode is going to focus on a local nonprofit who's doing amazing work with young people, children, and families. I'm really excited to have here with us today Shawana Carter.
Hey, girl.
Founder and chief hope dealer of Carter's House.
Yes, ma'am.
And her board member, Chair, Tamique Dupree. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely, absolutely. Before we get into this very, very important and timely dialogue, I want us to center ourselves by watching this amazing video of Shawana telling us more about the Carter's House, the why, and what they're up to. So let's turn our attention to this video.
My name is Shawana Carter. I serve in Calvary Kids, and this is my story. I was born into a family of preachers, deacons, and people that always went to church. I always said when I got old enough to make my own decisions, I wasn't going to go to church. I had my first child when I was a junior in high school. I was blessed to have a great support system at church and at home. In 2005, I married my husband, and he also had one child of his own. We got married and started our family. We have had our ups and downs, and in 2006, we were separated for 6 months. When we got back together, we were both at our lowest point. We were living in a motel room with 3 of the youngest children. Feeling incompetent as a parent and moving my family around was so hard on everyone. Most days, we didn't have money for the basic necessities, and there was always more month than money. At one point, I was not able to afford uniforms for my children to attend school. There was an organization that reached out to my family in a time of need and provided us with the clothes needed so that my kids wouldn't be sent home or bullied for not being in the right attire. I knew God had birthed a dream inside of me at that moment. It was called Carter's House. The Sunday following Easter, 2013, my daughter Grace and I walked into Calvary for the very first time. We knew right away that this was home. I was still wrestling with God about this dream I had to start Carter's House. Pastor Ben preached a message and made a statement that has stayed with me and pushed me through each step of the way. He said, where God gives vision, he gives provision. I then made the steps and started a nonprofit called Carter's House to provide clothes and school uniforms to family in need.
And as students head back to class, an Irving mom is fulfilling a basic need for hundreds of kids in her community, school clothes. CBS 11's Jennifer Lindgren shows us why this project is personal for this mother.
Her desire to give evolved into something more, a program called Carter's House, providing clothes for children who qualify for free or reduced lunch.
It wasn't an obligation that I felt, but it was a need that I saw. And so that's what we did.
In Dallas, Jennifer Lindgren, CBS 11 News.
In our first year, we served 20 children, and as of today, the close of the first semester, Carter's House has provided 3 to 5 school uniforms to over 200 families. We are now serving children ages 0 to 12 years old in the city of Irving. We have this storage facility that is full of quality clothing for children who are in low-income families. God is faithful. Thank you, Pastor Ben, for empowering the church, and thank you, Calvary, for being a part of my story. In 2013, I founded Carter's House. Carter's House was founded to assist families that are not experiencing a housing crisis but do need assistance. We help low-income families in underserved communities provide clothes, basic everyday wear, and school uniforms to their children from infant to 18 years old. Our process is simple. To be eligible for our services, we only require that you and your family be able to receive free or reduced lunch. We provide the basic applications with counselors. Ours is a referral-based program. And so anybody that comes to us generally has gone to the school and asked for help, and they're sent our way. We are located in Irving, Texas, and we do serve outside of Irving. We cover the entire, I believe there are 11 zip codes in Irving, cover all of them. It is our mission to ensure that no child is absent from school or be sent home from school or feel insecure because they do not own a uniform or because the condition of their clothes is not up to par.
Yeah.
Lots of memories on those videos.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of memories.
Every time I watch it, I'm moved.
Thank you.
Yeah. It doesn't get old is powerful. And I know you were there. It's your story.
Yeah.
But I would love to hear more from you, especially in the context of everything that's happening to families right now.
Yeah.
What does this mean? Yeah.
So I think when I started this with my sister, my sister and I sat down one day, we were always coming up with a new scheme on a business. My sister is 5 years younger than I am, but we're always trying to figure out something to do. And so I remember us sitting and talking one day, Brandy, and saying, like, we should do something that embodies all the things we learned at home. Right? Our house was always full of love. I have 3 siblings, my sister, and we have 2 younger brothers. And then I had a son early, so he grew up in the house with us too. But our house was full of love. It was full of discipline, structure, the ability to give. My parents weren't like super rich, but they gave, right? And so we wanted to do something that embodied that. And when I look at what we've accomplished to this point and then where society sits right now, I can still see our impact, right? I can still see the lives changed. I can still tell you that, what is today? Monday, last Friday, I was in my office with a mama who was going in to be induced. So I opened the doors to get her ready for this new baby that she's about to bring home because she had nothing. When she left, again, like most times, and Tamique will tell you, is they leave crying. And it's like, these is clothes, right? And people are like, you crying over some clothes? And I'm thinking to myself, but y'all don't know what that feels like. As a parent, to have to call somebody and say, I can't clothe my children. Right? I don't have any money. I am, most of the time, what I've learned in my office and what our team has learned is that by the time parents hit our door, there's a whole lot more things going on than just I can't clothe my kids, right? Because for most people, clothing is the most negotiated item in your budget. We always say, oh, I can't wait for my payday to get that pair of sneakers or get you that pair of jeans or even buy myself that new purse. We all do it. But when they have to go see somebody and say, I can't afford these clothes, and I don't know if they're going to be able to go to school, or I can't buy diapers this week, that's heavy. Right? It takes a lot. And we've had the pleasure, because it is pleasure, to be able to serve families from every financial background, from every ethnic background. This isn't limited to one demographic. It is not. As much as people would love to think that it is only poor people, or it is only black people, or it is only Hispanic people. No, we have served everybody. If COVID didn't teach me anything, doing diaper distributions with one of our community partners, I Look Like Love, we had people pulling up in brand new paper tags still on Escalades and Jaguars and Audis to get diapers and underwear and socks. It was real. It was very real. But now being able to acknowledge, like, post-COVID, that is still very real. And in the economy we're in right now,
And I know, and you've said this to me, earlier, and you said it before, it takes a whole lot of folks to run Carter's house.
Oh, yeah. I know I get to be the face. I get to be the person y'all see on the videos, on the interviews, and all the things. But boy, this ain't just me. Right? I have a very solid team. Right? I have some amazing board members who will drag themselves out to events because I am often the person who double books us, and then I put the message in the group like, yo, can somebody cover me at this one? I gotta go to this one. And so, we used to spend, I think this was our first year in Tamique where I didn't double book us for back to school. This was the first time. Usually we are in events from the end of July until the week before school starts. Every weekend. And it's hot. And I don't want to stand outside every weekend. So I start calling in the people. But this was our first time. I only booked us for like 2. And I was like, oh, okay, really good. I love this for us. But no, we have a very solid team. Some amazing volunteers that we can call. I even have a Auntie P, who is Miss Felicia Turner, is our resident clothes washer.
Okay.
So when you bring your stuff and drop it off, if it's not clean enough to our standards, I can call Auntie P and take her back to our house, and she gonna wash them, and I'm gonna go back and pick them up.
Awesome.
So without these people, y'all, there's no. This ain't just me. This can't. No, I don't have that kind of time.
And you could tell by the level of impact. And
yeah,
and even Tamique being here with us today in the studio. That's one of your right hand folks.
Rider.
Yeah,
my girl. We gonna make it happen. And we've done a whole lot of sitting down, strategizing, trying to pull it together. When I feel like it's falling apart, not necessarily falling apart, I'm just being a little extra. But when it feels that way to me, she is my level head. I have an amazing vice chair, Gabrielle Bowling. We have wonderful board members. One of our advisory board members runs a PR firm and often comes back and helps our social media manager, who happens to be a senior at Pinkston High School. He and Tracy get together and go over our marketing plans and make sure that I have not forgotten anything, or that I'm actually doing videos on time.
There you go.
But yeah, we have a very, very solid team. We have some amazing people who believe in the work, and I'm thankful every day, because this is not a one person feat
at all.
It is not. 12 years in the game, Brandy. This is not a one person feat.
Not at all. And I know you're thinking even beyond you, past you, like how this is gonna be sustained in the future, and that takes some planning. And Tamique, I think about you're 25 plus years in education, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you've been a teacher, counselor, all the things.
Taught for 6 years, and then became a counselor, elementary counselor for 19 years, and I just said goodbye to my elementary and went to high school.
Awesome.
So it's been a beautiful thing.
Yeah. So what is your why for Carter's House? Why did you take on this very important role as board chair?
My why for Carter's House is I met her when her daughter transferred to my campus, and she was explaining the different things that were going on. I was like, nah, they didn't do that right. Come on. And she saw how passionate I was with working with the kids. And she said, you know what? I think I want you to become a part of my board. And I said, oh, okay, that's fine. That's whatever. And then, to actually commit back to doing the work that I love to do, being a part of the community, educating the community, educating families and kids. That's been my passion. That's been my why, because if you can at least reach one, you can teach them.
There you go.
But you have to be able to reach them first in order to teach anything. So it's not about ever passing judgment. It's about gaining an understanding and meeting people where they are. And so that not only works with adults, but that also works with kids. Because a lot of times they come to us and they don't understand. And they want to know why. And it's like sometimes we don't take the time to teach them why, because we were brought up in an age where you don't ask why. You get told and you do, and then as you get older you begin to understand the why. But in order to get these kids to where we need them to be, you have to take time to explain the why to them. So it's understanding where they are and pushing and motivating them to get to where they want to be. I always teach all of my kids, no matter what age group I'm dealing with, is you go through situation and circumstance, but you don't have to become your situation and circumstance. You can always rise above that and become what you want to be. But that's a choice. And that's the thing that we all have, is choice. And it's choosing what is it that you want to do, and why is it that you want to do it, and follow that road to get you there. If you don't know the road to get you there, I'll help you.
That's right.
So we love doing that, and we love being able to be a part of these families' lives, because when she tells her story, she's not just telling her story for her. She's telling her story for a lot of the part of the board members. We've been in that same situation and circumstance, and we've had to humble ourselves and be like, I understand where you're coming from, because I've been there. I can't understand your journey if I haven't been a part of your journey. And I've been a part of that journey. I've had to come to my sister and say, you know what? I don't have the money to get these uniforms, but I know my kid needs this. I said, I don't have the money to do this, but you know what? I do have time. I can give you my time more than anything else, and I'll volunteer that time to do whatever I can do, however I can do it. There's times where she say, I'm going to need you to sit down. I'm like, but you need somebody to be there. and you want somebody to be there that understands what that means to actually meet that person face to face and understand, hey, you're not alone in this. Yeah. It's going to be all right. You're going to get better. Things are going to work out. It's going to smooth out. And when they see that you come with that humbleness and that heart and that love, they respect you because you respected them.
Yeah. You just said something that I think so many nonprofits are missing. The leadership consists of folks with lived experience.
I think it's essential,
Yeah.
right? I know that there's a benefit to those who have book knowledge, but there's a whole other set of benefits to people who can relate.
That's right.
Right, and you don't necessarily have to have been through it, but I think you need to have some type of understanding of what that looks like. So it may not have been your family, but it may have been, your cousin's family, or maybe your mama lived through it, something.
Right.
There has to be some kind of way to connect back to the people, right? I think it helps build trust.
Right.
One of the things about when we moved to South Dallas, what are we, almost 10 years in South Dallas in the MLK Center? I remember when I first got there, and I remember at the time, this is pre-COVID, the building was open to the public all the time. And so the unhoused population would come through the building, come hang out in what was the break room. And I remember one of the guys coming through and was like, "You're not from here. You don't sound like us." Right? And I was like, what does that mean?
Right.
He was like, you don't sound like us. You don't act like us. And I was like, I grew up in Duncanville. And it took a minute for them to trust me, right? But it's about establishing the trust and making sure that they know you're going to be there.
Right.
And I think when you have lived experience, it's easier when my parents come in the office and I can tell them, hey, I've been here.
Right.
I know what you're going through.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to make you do anything. But I need to, make sure that they understand that I can dig it. And it makes it easier for them to relate. It makes it easier for our parents to relax and know that they are safe in this space. I think that's a big deal.
Yeah.
I think sometimes some nonprofits forget to remember where you started from.
Right.
Or why you started.
Well, why you started.
Yeah.
You know what? And I don't want to dive off into policies and politics right now. Anyway, I'm sure we will get to that. But I think about a lot of the policies being passed when those who are most impacted are not at the table, right? To provide their input, their perspective, which is the most critical. So we make all these decisions on behalf of communities, and we have no clue what it's like to live in those communities, to grow, thrive, all the things, right? But we pass some policies.
Indeed.
Right? Yeah.
Indeed. We're doing that, and with little consideration of how it is going to affect the everyday family. Right. There's a young lady who is a former customer of ours. She has 5 children. She now works in our office to help organize our inventory. And when my sweet girl needed to go renew her food stamps, the process was ridiculous. She texted and was like, they said I gotta have a 40-hour-a-week job and volunteer 20 hours. I was like, you don't even have that kind of time. You got 5 kids. Who has that kind of, girl, that's a job.
Right.
You can't work. That's not gonna work out for you. Right? And that, while it sounds great in theory to get people off the system, nobody can do that.
Yeah.
That's one of my constant complaints when it comes to policy, especially when it comes to government assistance, as we decide, we want to get people off and we want people to stand on their own 2 feet. But you're not weaning anybody off. You're just taking it away.
Right.
Well,
it's like, what does it really take to make that happen? It's not just one issue, right?
Yeah.
There's so many different variables we have to consider to help support
that's it.
folks in making transitions, major transitions like that.
Yeah. And it's something where you have to think about, what does it look like for this person to pay rent? When housing is ridiculously priced, when this person has 5 kids they got to put through school, when this person has lights and water and gas and groceries and other necessities of the house. I need a car because you can't live in Dallas
That's
without
right.
a car.
Right.
Like you can call New York concrete jungle all you want to, but Dallas is a concrete jungle.
Yeah.
You need a car.
Yeah.
You know, public transportation is not what it should be, and it's just not sufficient for you to get all over town in a timely fashion. And so when you start thinking about those kind of things, when you start implementing policy and you don't pay attention to what those real costs look like, because you don't have to worry about them costs. I do. Right. Then you forget that there are people who are going to be severely impacted by your choices.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, I know that Carter's House focuses on making sure that children have the clothing they need to just exist, go to school, go everywhere they need to go. What other difficulties are your families facing, and then how do you handle those other issues that come up outside of clothing? When you think about the whole child, what is it?
So you think about the whole child. We are very mission driven. Let's start with that part. I don't, as an organization, we are really strict about what we cover. Right, we cover clothes, anything outerwear, and parental support. Those are our two things, right? And then of course with parental support, parental mental health. But when it comes to those outer things, because the reality is by the time a family walks into our office or a parent calls for assistance, they need help with other things. So we have a very vast resource book. We believe in using our connections. If a family needs help with housing, we have people who can make some phone calls, right? We have some connections. I can't guarantee you anything, but I can at least get you in for an application. I can get you an interview, right? If you need help with your bills, we got some people we can call. We don't pay bills. Right? I'm not. I just can't. We're not going to pay your rent. We're not going to, I'll help you find housing, but I can't house you. And so oftentimes people assume because of the name Carter's House, we can call for everything. No, boo, that's not what we do. But we do believe in sharing our resources. I'm not going to hold on to them because it ain't going to do no good. I do know that our families that we are seeing are all experiencing not just financial hardships. We see a lot of families that are dealing with unhealed traumas. We see a lot of families that are dealing with, kids who have issues in school, and they need assistance. They need help trying to navigate, being an advocate for their child because they didn't have a secure or a enjoyable educational experience. So there's some fear in navigating going into a school and have a conversation with a principal and a counselor. So we see those things on a regular basis. And we have families who are having other financial troubles when it comes to like finding work, which is hard right now. Finding adequate pay, making sure we can pay the rent, we can pay the work, the bills that we got to survive on. And so there's that. And I think that what we've built with Carter's House and being able to share those resources has been able to help our families kind of navigate what that looks like. Okay.
I love that you got into the mental health piece because it impacts so much.
It does. It's huge.
It is huge. It is huge. And so when you all talk about how you're working with the parents of the children, right? Because that's a piece of it. What does that look like? How are you addressing, because you're a counselor, that's your background. How are you integrating mental wellness into the work that you all are doing in the community?
Well, we have resources for them when we know that it's a mental health crisis that they're going through. We have different resources that we provide for them, but we've also created our parent group.
I love it.
And that's where is basically we created a village for them where people come in and we walk them through the different stages. We have them do the ACEs, which is very important because then they can begin to understand how their life is affecting them now and how they relate to their kids, because that's the most important thing is why are you doing what you're doing?
Can you tell us a little bit about the ACEs and what that?
The ACEs goes back through and it asks them questions about their lifestyle. How did their parents interact? The different things that they may have experienced when they were growing up. Did they experience violence? Did they experience domestic violence? Did they experience physical violence? Did they feel like they have been neglected? did they ever go without? And some people don't understand until they've actually seen it on paper. And so we've done it in school, coming back so that our teachers can understand what are the kids experiencing, what are the kids going through. And when they see, a lot of times some of them may score on the low end of a 1. Well, when they see that some of their coworkers are scoring a 6 or a 7, they're like, that's why these kids come to you. That's why you can relate to these kids, is because you've seen what they're going through. You understand what they're going through. And so they gravitate to what they know. And so it helps you to be able to better understand them, be able to better relate to them, and understand what it is that they need in order for them to learn. And so I always push them to understand, in order to be able to teach these kids, you have to be able to reach them first.
Yeah, absolutely.
Build that relationship first so they understand, I'm here for you. I'm not here to fight against you. I'm here for you so I can work with you, which is the same thing that we push into with our parents, because we have parent liaisons on campus, and they've allowed us to come through, and we actually do this with the parents, so that the parents begin to understand why they're doing what they're doing and understanding. And so that then they say, well, my kid is doing da 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 da. And it's like, when you were that age, what did you do?
Right.
How did your parents respond to you when you did what you did? And if you can understand that, now you can begin to understand why your child is doing and how you need to respond to your child, because there's a reason why they always react the way that they react. It's because there's a need that needs to be met. And it's getting to better understand what that need is. So that also helped with us getting certified in Parent Connect, because Parent Connect helps us understand the reasoning as to why they are reacting and responding, and how you need to better respond. So it's not passing a judgment, but it's like, when you were that age and you did this, what was it that you were needing? So that then if you begin to basically understand your needs, you begin to understand your child's needs as well. And you can better meet those needs, because now you have a better understanding. And a lot of times we don't take the time to reflect. We take the time to respond and react. And that causes a shift. So when we were going through this training, it was like eye-opening for me, because it's like, so they're needing something. So that's the reason why they're doing what they're doing. They're not doing it just to be disobedient and be disrespectful, but it's a cry for something that I need, and I don't know how to tell you what it is that I need. So creating that village, so they say, hey, my kid did, and this is what they needed, and this is what they wanted, but I didn't see it then, but now I can see it now. So that may be what your child needs. So it's creating that village, that safety, that security, to say, hey, we're not being judgmental, but we're here to help one another, build one another, to better understand one another, so we can be better parents ourselves. And once you begin to do those things, you begin to feel more empowered and stop feeling less than, because oftentimes we're our own worst enemy. You know what I'm saying? We don't need anybody else to criticize us, because we can criticize ourselves worse than anybody else. So by teaching those things, opening up those different avenues, it helps the parents understand that's what I need to do. And it keeps the gateway of communication open, which is, in our communities, it's a hard thing. Because we don't often communicate. It's like, do as I tell you, and that's what you need to do. It's not trying to get the understanding. But by taking the time to get that understanding, you begin to knock down walls that have already been built.
Absolutely. I love that. And can we cut, Bruce? I heard the camera click.
I mean, it's still recording.
I'm glad you really talked about the village piece. That's really important to the work that you do, because relationship is like foundational.
It is.
When you're really talking about making impacts in any type of impact in any community, right? Where there's a great need, you got to have that relationship piece. And that's something that y'all are doing very well. And so I applaud you. Yeah, absolutely. For the work that's being done. But I want to transition us to go back to the beginnings of the why, again, of Carter's House. You talked about the McKinney-Vento Act. as well as the PASS program. Is
Yeah.
that? Tell us a little bit about what that is to educate, our community who's watching on what that is and how that informed what you're doing at the Carter's House.
Absolutely. So let's start with the McKinney-Vento Act. McKinney-Vento Act is set up so that it's set up for families, which could be single-parent households, two-parent households that are experiencing some type of housing crisis. Right? You don't have to be traditionally homeless to receive assistance from your school district, right? And when you think traditionally homeless, it's like street homeless.
Okay.
But when you think people who are couch surfing or people who are living in a motel or staying on somebody's couch living with another family, those are all unstable housing conditions because at any point you could be put out. Right? Or you could have to move. And so McKinney-Vento Act allows a parent to go to the school, report that we're experiencing this housing crisis. The school is able to assist in various ways with, correct me if I'm wrong, food, clothing, other necessities, toiletries, things of that nature. And they're not going to pay your rent. But they can help you maintain while you navigate the rest of that. Right? There's no consequence to admitting like, yo, we living in a motel, right? Nobody's going to call CPS on you. Nobody's going to report you to the police. They want to assist you and help you. Essentially what's happening is they're trying to cut out costs that you would normally incur. So for my family, McKinney-Vento the act allowed me to go to the school district and say I could not afford to buy school clothes for my kids at the time. At that time, I had a first grader and an eighth grader. And so being able to go to the district, they were able to provide 2 school uniforms for my then first grader, who's now 22. And then my then 8th grader, who was now 30, he couldn't get anything from the school district because he was already in adult male size clothes. And at the time, the district had never clothed anybody that large. And so starting Carter's House made me recognize that a lot of parents don't necessarily have a traditional housing crisis. So they can't go to the school district and ask for help. Right? They're not necessarily homeless. They may actually be in their own place, but we just can't afford to pay for the clothes. Right? And where there is programming supposedly, should be in place for the district to assist the families in the housing crisis, the ones who don't have that, they don't have anywhere to go. They don't have anybody to call.
So y'all fill in that need, that gap.
Correct. We fill in that gap. That's what we're there for. One of the things I've always prided us on is that I have never in 12 years checked income documentation. Right? Because you could be making $60,000, $70,000 a year and still not have no money. That's just real. Right? And most people think, well, you should check their documents. And I was like, child, let me tell y'all something. At 40 years old, I was clearing like almost $60,000 a year with 3 kids at home, and I was still barely holding on.
Yeah.
Right? I still had a mortgage to pay, a brand new car note, daycare bills, all the things. So the amount of money I make, especially in today's society, today's economy, doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to be able to take care of these kids.
Right.
And I know there's some who will jump out and say, well, you shouldn't have had them. Too late. They're here now.
Yeah. It's not even up for discussion, right?
Just like, they're here now, right?
Yeah.
So I think that when we started, that was my biggest thing, was making sure that I understood. And for us, it was Project PASS. Every school district, which is part of Urban ISD, that was who we went through.
Okay.
Every school district is going to have a program. For DISD, it's Homeless Education Department.
Gotcha.
So each district may call it something different, but they're going to be able to assist. Now, what I will say for anybody who's not educated and may have somebody in their family or in their friend group who may need to sign up, you have to report this to the school. They're not going to know just because you look like you might be struggling. No. And you need to be, I would say, humble enough to go in and say, I need some help.
Right.
Now, if there is a fear of reprisal or a fear of something going to happen to you, consequence after you report, then you need to try to contact somebody beforehand, or have an advocate go with you.
That's what I was going to ask you. Who is the person to contact? Just a friend?
I would definitely suggest if it's somebody who has any experience in being in the school district. If you're in Dallas and you need me to go with you, I have no problem walking in school districts and telling people, like, hey, don't you call nobody on this family, because
Right.
I lived it, right? And I have a mom right now who I just dealt with about 2 weeks ago, and we're actually getting ready to request a meeting at her kid's school. But I have a mom who said that she reported if somebody called CPS, and I was like, do what? No, that's not how this works, right? And this is oftentimes why we have families. Like I honestly believe that we always have an underreported number of kids,
I'm sure,
who are homeless. One of the high schools we serve in DISD has a report that is indicated they have like 40 homeless kids. But if you ask their administration, they say no, the number should be closer to like 100, 150 kids.
Yeah. Wow.
And I'm like, how do we get from 40 to 150, y'all? And the district isn't aware. And I asked the district, and they're like, well, Shawana, if they don't tell us, we don't know.
Right.
And I was like, there's a fear.
Oh, yeah.
There's a fear that somebody's going to find out that we are sleeping in my car, or that we are staying out of district at somebody else's house so I can keep them safe. And so I think that we have to, as a society, we have to welcome the fact that this is real life.
Yeah.
Like this, as much as we want to say we're going to curb a homelessness problem, I would love to see that happen in my lifetime. I really would. But we have to be realistic about the fact that there are still going to be people who struggle. It's just going to happen.
Yeah. There's so much you said there, and I have so many thoughts, and I'm just trying to think about how do we, people who know better, right? How do we educate folks in the school systems on how not to penalize families for housing status, right? Like, where does that come? What kind of training are we? And we've all worked in a school or been in a school system at some point, right? Me as a school psychologist, but I had a different set of training, but how do we get this information to the people who are the frontline responders to say, hey, this is not something we penalize families for? Are we doing any training for districts? I know they probably have to go through.
They do go through training, but a lot of the times we deal with so many people that don't tell us the truth.
Yeah.
So when you get lie after lie after lie, and then you finally get the truth, it's like, dude, why you just didn't tell me from the beginning?
Right.
Because if you had told me from the beginning, then this is what I could have done.
There's a level of fear that goes with that too.
Yeah. But again, it goes with building the relationships, because I had a parent that came to me and she's like, well, I just didn't want to tell you because I didn't want to put CPS in your life. I said, my job as a counselor is to be nosy, to be in your business so that I can help these kids. Right. However, I need to help these kids physically, emotionally, educationally. But I can't do that if you're not telling me the truth.
Right.
If you tell me the truth, I can get you the resources that you need, and you won't be penalized because I gave you the resources.
Right.
The only way that you're penalized is when I give you the resources and you don't use them.
That's right.
And a lot of times we can give them the resources, but because of the humility that goes with it, they won't use the resources. And so they try to navigate without using the resources, which puts them in more danger because they're putting the child in jeopardy.
Yeah.
So
it's almost like there's not only the piece of informing or educating, training, however you want to call it, school personnel on the relational piece, right? How that's important. But then on the family side, again, you got to trust us with the information, right?
Again, it goes back to the whole, like, did you have a good educational experience?
Yeah.
Right? Like, if you didn't have a great educational experience as a child or as a student, then you are fearful of going back in there. If there is the fear of the fact that they might go against my kid because he's a different race, then there is a lack of that lack of trust is going to overpower anything else. It's going to overpower my need to help my kid,
right? Because
I'm scared I'm going to lose my child. That fear.
And now we have the situation with undocumented families. That's a whole new layer, right?
It is.
That I can imagine families are pulling back big time.
They are, because a lot of times we would have events at the school and there used to be an outpour of the families. But now that's scaled back because they're like, I'm scared to come to the school, because in Irving, one school actually had ICE show up on the campus. And the kids were terrified. Yeah. But my principal at my elementary campus, she was like, you can show up if you want to, you're not coming through the door.
That's right.
You're not coming through the door.
Yeah.
And once they began to understand, You're not coming through the door because this is supposed to be a safe place for these kids. And this is what we've taught these kids, is that this is a safe place. And they got permission. Principals got permission from the district. You don't let them in.
Yeah.
Because once those babies are there, they're there.
Yeah.
They're safe. They come there to learn, to feel safe. We tell them, no matter what you have going on outside that door, when you come in, you're able to be a kid.
Right.
You have that safeguard. That's what has to be reestablished. And then the parents have to understand that we're not reporting you to have you deported. Our job is to keep families together and to provide an education for these kids. Yeah. A safe house for these kids. A safe house for you to come and ask the questions that you need to ask to be able to have the resources that you need. It's not that we're picking sides. It's we're providing the information that you need and that's necessary for you.
And I'll even say, like, even in our office, we see a very large number of Hispanic families in our office. But we have some clear-cut guidelines as a nonprofit that I can refuse to let people in my office too. And so, nobody's coming to my office to pick anybody up. And if they outside, you're going to stay in here until they leave. Because I'm not letting you leave out this door to be picked up and possibly not see your kid again. Nope, that's not happening here. My office happens to be in a government building, and our government building has a policy. So, I think having those things in place helps to establish the fact that there are some safe places still available for parents to go to and feel like they can still get the assistance they need. But I do agree with Tamique that there has to be the relationship to trust when it comes time for the reporting that we are having a financial struggle, that we do need some help. And then there has to be the trust, but there has to be the respect on both sides. Yeah, that's a big deal.
Yeah. I've asked you a lot of questions. I have, and I appreciate y'all for being transparent and just being your authentic selves. What have I not asked that you want the viewers to know about the work that you're doing?
I would like for people to remember that our families are just like any other one. Right? The people we serve day in and day out, the kids we serve, may be going through, but that one child that we serve at a high school may turn out to be the doctor who saves your life. I always tell people to remember that, hope comes in all kind of forms. And you need to make sure you provide just a little touch of hope for somebody today, right? It doesn't have to look like a lot, B. It doesn't. But just to remember that these families, these parents, I think a lot of times people look at our social media and they see my face a lot. And I get fussed at by the board because I don't put a lot of pictures of our customers on there. Part of that is because this is just a bump in your road, right? 15 years ago, it was me. Yeah. Right? And I know I knew that it wasn't going to last for me. So I know it ain't going to last for you. So there's no reason for me to plaster your picture all over my social media to tell everybody you having a rough moment when I know you're going to come over this speed bump and you're going to zoom right on with your life. Yeah. Right? So don't go looking. I think when people go to help folks, I want them to remember, like, you don't have to broadcast that. Just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it. You don't have to tell everybody.
Because it's in your heart to do.
Right. Yeah.
That's your passion.
Not for press or publicity. You'll see very few pictures of people on our social media, on our website, outside of my board, outside of events with other partners. You'll see very few pictures of our customers shopping. I think that's just a thing. It's a me thing, right? What else do I want them to know about us?
Understand that people are people. They all have different walks of life. And I mean, the most beneficial event that I love to do was two of them, actually. And one that we go out in the community to do is chili coats and cupcakes. And that's where we're helping the homeless. And it's so touching because when you begin to just listen to their life stories and what they have to tell you, it's powerful. Yeah. Because you never know the stories that you're going to hear and the emotions that it's going to evoke. Yeah. And it's like, man, you have people with college degrees. You have veterans. you have talented artists that are out there living on the street.
That's right.
And you don't know their story. And a lot of times they want to chalk it up to, they just chose to live on the street. No, they didn't choose to live on the street.
Mm-mm.
But everybody has a testimony.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I guess that's where we try to push her to put their pictures out, not because of the situations per se that they're going through, but to show that no matter what walk of life you choose, you have a testimony and somebody can learn from your testimony that you provide. So it's just powerful to me to be able to see people from all different walks of life.
Absolutely.
And be able to understand what they're going through, and that sometimes they just want somebody to listen.
Yeah. I think my last thing I tell people about us, let me tell you, B. My treasurer, who would be very upset if I didn't tell you, that you must also donate.
That's what I was going to ask you next. How can we help? Thank you. Where can we go to help?
Very unhappy if I
Absolutely.
let the podcast in and I tell people that we cannot do this work.
That's
for free.
right. Mm-hmm.
Because of our dedication, especially when it comes to clothes and uniforms specifically, we buy these, right? Because I think every kid desires to have fresh, new out clothes on when they walk in school, right? Mm-hmm. We all remember what the first day of school looked like. You lay your clothes out the night before, get your kicks out, you're ready to rock. Mm-hmm. We think everybody deserves that. Yes. And so we want to make sure that we are able to purchase those. We have an amazing vendor we work through. We are also in the process of starting our own uniform line. Mm-hmm. There is not one run by a Black woman, so why shouldn't I do it?
Yes. I love it. I love it.
But yeah, so donations are always great. We always, our vendor is amazing, as I stated, and so your donation of $25 actually translates to a uniform, underwear, socks, and shoes for a student. So,
and where can we make this donation?
You can always go to our website at cartershouse.org, click on the donate button. You can also Cash App us. It is $CH Community all together. And Cash App us if you don't want to pay them fees. I ain't going to judge you. It's okay.
We also have the fundraiser.
Well, it's over now. So that was over. But we'll do another one. But yeah, you can always hit our website. You can go to our website. You can actually call us from the website if you have questions and talk to our admin assistant. And you can text us if you have any questions via the website. I'll get the messages and I can respond back to you. And we can go ahead and get you informed. If you want to mail a check in, you can mail that in to our mailing address at Carter's House at 2922 Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, Dallas, Texas, 75215, Suite 131.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you. I know. I can't wait to have y'all back.
Yeah.
But we appreciate you. We thank you. And we honor you for the work.
Thank you, dear. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the Montgomery Podcast. I hope that you were as inspired as I was having this conversation. Carter's House is doing amazing work in collaboration with other organizations in this area. And so please, if you find it in your heart to donate, you know the website, you know the P.O. box, not a P.O. box, mailing address, where you could go to provide much needed funds and clothing to help them continue this great work. So thank you again for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.